And Pilate said, "Oh, he's a Judean. It's not my court, it's Herod." So he sends him to Herod, and that's, of course, where you get the great scene in the life of, Jesus, the rock opera, right? The rock opera, where Herod is singing, "If you are the Christ, you're the great Jesus Christ, walk across my swimming pool." Da, 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 da. That was the rock opera that came out in the 60s, I think.
Jesus Christ.
That got, oh my goodness, people were so furious over the treatment of Jesus in that rock opera, which, by the way, was my wife's favorite. She only bought one LP, and it was Jesus Christ Superstar.
It does have a great soundtrack. So
But a lot of people say, hey, this has turned a lot of attention to the life of Jesus. It's a shot in the arm that the churches need. Actually brought a lot of young people into that. However, so St. Augustine, this is, was he born 270, died 350, I think. I'm sorry, 350 to 430. So this is after the Nicene Council. So it's after the church has already had made its decision on what doctrine, at least in the first council. Notice there's constant council. In my day, there was the Vatican II, and so on. All different councils trying to revise, update, the faith, basically. But Augustine was born. His mother was a Berber, if that makes sense to you. The Berber people are actually still in the area. Father was supposedly a Roman, but so, remember, he's a mix, whatever. And his mother was a Christian and wanted him to become a Christian, but not right away. That's pretty famous. Let me be chaste, but later, not right now. Because he wanted to have all the sinning done first. All the bucket list checked. It becomes a student in Carthage, becomes a rhetor. Teacher, teaches there for a while, eventually gets called to Italy, where he goes and he teaches in Rome for a while and in Milan. And Milan at the time was actually the capital. Rome was officially the capital, but the emperor actually lived in Milan because Rome was the pits by then, right? So many people, such a mess, So Milan, beautiful city, that's where the emperor lived. And Bishop Ambrose was the head of the Basileus, the basilica. I can't remember the name of it, but it's still there, actually, although it's a new building now. Although they've uncovered the baptismal font where Augustine was baptized. And a great book, by the way, on Augustine is a book called The Font. I guess there's too many kinds of font books out there, but the font. Let's do it this way. Do you like my using the web for this kind of stuff? Okay, so I didn't have the whole title. Font of Life. Excellent book. It was brought about by the discovery of the font where Ambrose baptized St. Augustine. And we do have a pretty good biography of St. Augustine because he wrote one. And it's a famous book, even today, probably still available in the bookstore. And how many hundreds of years? as this, over 1,000, right? And, pardon? Is Harry Potter still more popular than the Bible? It passed the Bible at least for a few years. That's the question. Is actual public.
Crazy.
Yeah, I forgot that is Harry Potter still on top?
We have to check. We would have to check.
I have to. Now your Fantastic Beasts. Well, the new video game didn't come out, so I don't know how.
Now it's all games, right? The games are the big media sell. Even movies are not competing with games.
And games aren't exactly doing too hot either. A lot of the industries aren't doing their jobs.
Yeah, the 3 most popular games are like more than 10 years old.
But
Companies that make-
I was talking
Yeah.
about GTA 5, Minecraft, and Tetris.
Oh, yeah, GTA Online is still going. People still play that all the time.
Yeah,
Never.
never been designed.
But you have the Confessions, which are it's his biography, and he talks about his young sinful youth and his progression to Christianity. For a while, he was a member of the Manichaean religion, which, by the way, is still a very popular religion among a lot of people. Mani was a Christian, but believed in kind of a Zoroastrian version of Christianity, and believed that both good and evil coexisted. Yes.
Bible's number 1.
Bible's still number 1 now?
Yeah.
It kind of went back. At least here, I would imagine. How about in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. I wonder.
They're probably not reading Harry Potter. I don't think they're reading either things.
Neither do they have an orchestra.
They don't have an orchestra?
Islam believes that if it's pleasurable, it's haram, evil, and music is pleasurable. So
I can speak from experience,
Yes.
but orchestras are not that pleasurable.
attending, well, yeah, the call to prayer is very musical, but at the same time, not officially music.
As long as
It's a
it doesn't
chant.
depict anything harmful towards your being, then it's not haram. But if it depicts something out of harming and some type of thing, then we would highly advise not. Or like anything against your morals or like your values in life.
Like Rihanna.
Oh.
She made that one song, Umbrella. That goes hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of my mantra that goes with my moral.
Well, just the way Rihanna stepped out and had the hair and then went like this was so sexy. It had to be haram.
You got a good point.
I mean, sure. Her stepping out to reveal her second pregnancy was a bit of a tragedy to my
I
wife.
was expecting a
I will say
album.
that's probably like the biggest thing.
We're gonna have
It
to
hit
have a
home.
whole
It hit
nother-
home.
for that.
Yeah, probably be.
Yes.
Well, St. Augustine did his sinning and in fact had a son as a result, and loved his son and his wife, except she wasn't his official wife. She was a concubine, whatever, traveled around with him 20-some years together. But while he's in Milan and he's meeting with Ambrose, he's the actual rhetor who speaks for the emperor. It's kind of like, the nice lady who talks to the press every day at the White House, telling, people what the president, means by everything. So that was kind of like, his job. And in fact, he's involved in a controversy because the young emperor is in a conflict with Bishop Ambrose, because at the Nicene Conference, the Arian belief in the Book of Thomas was considered heresy, and you can't believe that. And the Book of Thomas was banned, right? Instead, here's what you have to believe. There are followers of Athanasius. And the main difference between those two, Athanasius and Arius, at least one simple way of remembering it, is that there's an iota of difference. You ever heard that expression? There's not even one iota of difference between them. Well, the difference is in homoousios or homoousios. Notice I took out the iota, right? And the difference in the theory is that Jesus is one substance or one and a substance. In other words, are they one, or is Jesus a separate God? And the conclusion was no. Jesus is one with the Father, period. No iota, right? So the conflict is often summarized as a fight over an iota, which is just Greek for I, the letter I, iota, right? And so Athanasius is the official creed of the official church, and Ambrose is representative of Athanasius. The emperor, however, is a follower of Arius. Yes.
Did we have a quiz question?
Does anybody remember what it was?
What movie
Pardon?
has the hero's journey? Does it
Well,
have
no,
the-
that would be fun, but I actually have a question already prepared, so I have to quickly find it now, because for some reason. The last one I asked you is, why did Christianity become the religion of the emperor? Oh, I know what it is. Do you have free will? Do you have free will?
Is that something we're answering now?
That's the quiz question for today. That's an Augustinian question. St. Augustine believes that yes, you do have free will, and that's why we're sinners. Because just like him, when he was a kid, we have this natural tendency to want to sin. And we're going to keep doing that unless we're saved by someone who shows us the way to not sin anymore. And of course, that's going to be Jesus. So we'll talk about that. We'll catch up. I realize I got
Lost in the
caught up
sauce.
in a lot of squirrels. Yeah, squirrels. And hopefully they were interesting squirrels.
They were very interesting squirrels. I would think there's a lot of scenic pictures. Majestic.
A lot of acorns.
I think that I went through here earlier turning the squirrel in Ice Age. It had kind of like a
Any questions for me? Are you still having fun?
I felt really behind last week just because I was working on adult jobs
Oh,
and everything.
oh.
Can I still do the quiz questions?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's no problem. Okay.
No problem.
Cool. That's
Yeah, I think of, as long as I get everything in by the, when I have to consider the grades for
okay. Yeah,
May.
because I actually want to watch the class before I answer a quiz question too. So
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
do that
yeah,
during this weekend.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
I'm glad I have this little device.
Yeah.
Yeah, and